This is a video I've been wanting to do for a while because resealing John Deere cylinders it's not difficult, it's just slightly different than I've seen other cylinders to do it. Case cylinders have a very similar issue, some of the older ones, but the John Deere ones are just a little bit specific. So I was able to film a 540M loader repair cylinder just a couple weeks ago. But in the video, I talked about the little plastic, I called it a wear ring, but that's incorrect. It's the ring that releases the snap ring on the inside. Hopefully you can see that. It's just this little piece of plastic, basically. So these come in the seal kits. I mentioned it in the video, but John Deere cylinders use two seal kits. You have a rod seal kit and you have a barrel seal kit. And these come in these come in the rod one. But I've seen people post asking where you can buy these. So I did find a link on Amazon. It's kind of expensive, but it's basically a whole set of these. And it will be down in the link below. But that same seller sells individual ones if you just need individual ones, and they just go by the diameter. So I usually don't keep these, but you can keep them. They get kind of damaged every once in a while, so that's just something I wanted to mention. Both the seal kits, John Deere cylinders need two seal kits. So there's one there, there's one there. I have this right here on this 540M loader. This cylinder is going slower than that cylinder, but there's only one line from the tractor, so I'm suspecting that the cylinder is bypassing internally. So we're gonna get this all apart here, and then we're gonna reseal the cylinder. So I got it off. You have to take the first snap ring out, and then you have to hammer the gland back in to compress the other snap ring. But before you do that on these cylinders, this rod has to be extended all the way out, because if not, what happens is, if you can see through that, maybe you can see that, but that's the part of the gland right there, you'll have a void here with either air or oil that will keep this from moving. So you have to extend this all the way out. That way the piston is hitting the back of the gland, and you drive it all back, and now it'll come right out. You got to put the little wear ring in there, which is in this kit. Yeah, it's right here. There's this little ring here that goes in there that compresses that snap ring. Now you got that ring in there. Now you can just pull the rod out and it'll come right apart. So I got it apart. So this is that snap ring you got to compress on the inside. It is kind of rusty. All right, so we're going to get this apart, reseal this. Got it all apart, got it resealed here. So I always start with the piston, because the high pressure seal, you have to stretch it. And these little plastic things are the wear rings, so they're part of the piston, so you can't take those off. But the high pressure seal, you always have to stretch it. So I put black tape around it and then use the hose clamp to kind of smash it down while I'm resealing the rest of it. Because if not, you won't be able to get it back in. So now I got to get it in, oil this up, and torque this. But they put a ton of Loctite on this nut. So now I have to find the torque for that. So you have to go to the CTM for the hydraulic cylinders, and you figure out which cylinder it is. So this is a 100-120 series, externally retained ring cylinder. And then there's what size is it. So you got to figure out if it's standard or if it's metric. And then there's another one here that says if it's shorter than 80 millimeters, which this one is not. During editing, I noticed that I forgot one little thing, so I wanted to add this note. So it says nut torque specifications, but if you scroll down, so this is the CTM 120519 hydraulic cylinders. And then if you scroll down, it says nut torque specification shorter than 80 millimeters. If you keep going, longer than 80 millimeters, and then it gives you different dimensions. But then if you go right here, it says cap screw torque specifications. So some rods or some pistons are attached with nuts, and some of them are attached with bolts. So the torque is different depending on if it's a bolt or a nut. So just want to clarify that. So this particular one is 7/8. So then 7/8, 14, it torques to 236 foot-pounds. The easiest way that I found to do it with these little ones is just to stand it up and assemble it vertical. But I always take this little ring out, because I didn't do that one time and it got stuck in there and I had to take it back apart. I got it back together now. Just use the piston ring compressor and then hammer it in, but sometimes it takes a few tries. And then one thing too is, don't ever forget this. One time I forgot this snap ring. And what I always do is I always push it down a little bit further and then pry it back up to make sure that snap ring locks. because I've had that not happen where the snap ring didn't lock and then the gland popped out.